I'm really excited about some of the new music you're doing next year.
They just go and embrace and it goes away.
And it's such a virtuosic piece for the orchestra.
That is a wonderful program. Oh my God. We have the faith and the will to keep going forward, and we will be out of that.
It's been a great joy to spend some time this afternoon talking to Rafael Payare about his great excitement about the 2021 season, his second as music director. And whenever I'm together with Rafael, the subjects flow from one to another. Time kind of stops. And so today it's fun to have you hear a little bit of that so that you discover the genuine thoughtfulness and warmth, intelligence, of course, and fun, vigor, and playfulness that is Rafael Payare. And so we explore his favorite composers and talk about the shell and its emerging on our bayfront and why San Diego has become an important place for him. And in fact, where he is with us today as home. It's such a dark time, and yet here we have lightness. And that's what I really love about this city. It gives hope, which to me, this season that has gone through many iterations in its planning is also, to me, symbolic of hope. And there are certain messages that are sort of universal that you chose when you put these programs together that may, to me, become more meaningful every day as we're living through this time, but looking forward to a time when we can be back together. These messages of light and darkness, for instance.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy how, because of course we've been talking about the festival and everything all together, and how now what in the name of the earth is going to be so much more meaningful. And it's not like we are reacting with what happened with this crazy virus, but we already planned this before, but now it will get much more gravitas, and the message is going to come across even stronger, I think.
I'm really excited about some of the new music you're doing next year. Talk about how you're opening the season.
Oh, yes.
I don't know this piece at all.
I don't think his piece has been played in the West Coast, so it could be a West Coast premiere of his piece, Siempre Lunes, Siempre Marzo. And then we're going to be having Alisa, my wife, Inon, the music director of La Jolla Summerfest, and Jeff Thayer, our wonderful concertmaster, doing all together with me and the orchestra the triple concerto from Beethoven, of course. And then we're going to have Shostakovich's Fifth Symphony. So it's a very nice thing to pair new music and still having the line to keep the continuity of the journey that we were having before with Beethoven, although Beethoven's years has been now a little, let's say, halt in pause, a little bit of the celebration in his name, but he will get his celebration throughout this season and next season. I could play Beethoven always. It's one of those things. But so we can put Reynaldo's piece as the new music. We will also be doing a piece that I'm very excited, and I think you, Martha, are also very excited about, is Nix from Salonen. Yeah. My God, his language is so fantastic, and his orchestration is just mesmerizing. And I was really looking forward to dive into his music, and we chose this great piece, and we pair it with the pristine colors of Prokofiev's First Concerto, bringing Veronica Everly into the mix. She's great, amazing violin player. She's now confined in Berlin as well with this crazy virus going on. And then we're going to put it with the celebration of rhythm and dance from Beethoven's Seventh Symphony. So it's a great line. And this is just going from October, November, without before getting into the, let's say, even deeper into new music festival that we're going to have in January with Steve Chick.
The composers that you always say you hold close to your heart are composers that really faced darkness and kind of came up with this luminescent reflection of it. I mean, Mahler, the name of the festival, In the Name of the Earth, is based on Mahler's great song cycle.
Yeah, Das Lied von der Erde, yeah, exactly. And it's great how we could see how this composer somehow lived through the darkness and came out and make something remarkably deep and important, because beautiful, it doesn't just cut it. It's much more meaningful. I mean, one of the programs that we're going to have in November, for instance, we're going to pair Beethoven First Symphony, when he's actually groundbreaking everything in a pristine, wonderful way. And then we're going to get Shostakovich's Eighth Symphony. That is so dark, and it's so a reflection on how humanity was doing what it was doing back during that war. I mean, just after the Second World War, it's a huge reflection on it. And then how he just portrayed this in this gigantic monumental piece. And we pair those pieces together, light and darkness, and it's just fantastic. So looking forward to that. And we couldn't have the wonderful Shostakovich Fifth Symphony during the first season, but then we just put it at the beginning of the season as well. And of course, there's always something about that symphony saying that if it's the reaction of criticism or anything, but we could leave, of course, that question open. But what it is for sure is that it doesn't matter how dark the times comes, it just keeps going. We have to try to go and keep looking forward. It doesn't matter how gray or dark the surroundings are. We have the faith and the will to keep going forward, and we will be out of that. And this is amazing to have it. I mean, we didn't program this way, but it's fantastic that how it's coming across. It's just great.
All of us worked on them, trying to deliver your vision, and then we did relook at them.
Yeah.
Because there were things that we, unfortunately, with the canceled concerts this year, just weren't able to play. So it's kind of a mix, but certainly of the time.
I mean, even though it has a little touch, it still remain the line that we're trying to say since we are starting for the first season, and then just continuing into this wonderful journey.
Well, I think that is a tribute to your vision, and that you do see these links and this progression. I think that's a hallmark of your ideas about programming. It's always fun to make programs with you.
Yeah, thank you. It's so much fun. It's always our meetings are crazy with Clement and Gerard, and then but we start at 10 in the morning, with a little bit of coffee, and we end around 12 at night. And it's like, what? It's like, no, it's not exhausting. It's fantastic. We talk about things, we brainstorm, we listen to music, we sometimes get sidetracked and talk about something that have nothing to do with it and come with even a crazy or wonderful idea into it. So yeah, the process of programming with you, Martha, Clement, and Gerard is always an absolute joy.
We are featuring a number of composers this year who came to this country and brought their influences and were influenced by it. I mean, I think that obviously Esa-Pekka being from Finland, as we know, but very much at home wherever he is, be it with his with a summer festival in Finland or in London with the Philharmonia for now many years. And he's very, very, he fit into the California music scene so incredibly well, and brought his history, his point of view, but also blended it with American music. And I think that's kind of a hallmark of many composers this year.
Yes, indeed. And we could see how many of including the ones that are alive, like Esa-Pekka or Reinaldo, but also we could see we are going to be going through the season as well from another composers that has been taking the United States as their home, like Rachmaninoff. And we're going to be portraying all of this, that how they actually influence American music through history, and still they are. Coming from not being born, let's say, in this country, but making this country their home. So it's very exciting.
Well, you're doing Bartók Concerto for Orchestra next year as well.
Yes, indeed. And
someone who fled to this country, really, in the darkness of the Second World War, and lived in New York and composed it for the Boston Symphony Orchestra.
It was crazy, the history with Bartók, because he already did the Miraculous Mandarin before he came to America. And when he was here, he was only known for playing the piano. And it was fantastic from Kusevitsky to actually push to get his concerto. And then we have this amazing masterpiece, Concerto for Orchestra, that now I love that piece, but now we will be able to enjoy everybody. And I'm very excited to conduct it with the Santiago Symphony. And I think we are pairing that with Liszt's second piano concerto, Marc-André Hamelin, and Wagner Prelude of Tod und Liebestod. That is a wonderful program. Oh my God.
Great to rediscover them now. Well, and Wagner is, I know, an area that you hope to lead us into. And that piece, kind of, speaking of containing the whole world is contained in just that one 18-minute piece.
Yeah, it's so wonderful. I mean, that prelude of Love and Death from Tristan and Isolde, it's just at the very beginning with his famous Tristan chord, how he just opened, like you just said, the whole world, and we could live through everything. And it is beautiful how at the end everything just gets transcend, and how they just go and embrace and it goes away. It's so beautiful. Makes you, especially during this time, kind of inhale and take it completely aback and think about this. Okay, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine, and we're going to transcend this period, and we're going to come out stronger. And
I think, just talking about the piece, suddenly I'm hearing it in my head again, and I think it's going to mean more to us than ever before.
We have been somehow forced to face that we as human beings, we just are part of this planet, but just a small part. It's not that we can do with the planet whatever we want. That was pretty much what we were doing for so long. And then we could see, like, no, we're just a small particle of it. And look how it has put a stop, one virus, the whole world has just stopped and make a force and realize, like, whoa, we actually should nurture.
So as we go into May of next year, as I remember, speaking of profound, but also reflective of the world he lived in, we do a little Tchaikovsky kind of tasting over 2 weeks.
Yes, indeed. We are going to be having the fourth symphony to close our season, but also we will be having the second symphony, Little Russia, which is actually talking about Ukraine, and we will be using some Gogol's reading. This is a little surprise. We will be using an actor or actress, but I think that would be better not to say it now, and we could just wait until the season actually come, and you could be surprised by it. That is going to be find the link with to Tchaikovsky, but also there's a composer that Martha, Gerard, Clement, and I also wanted to bring to San Diego, was Janecek, and we will be doing Taras Bulba, which is fantastic. And I'm not so sure how much Janecek had been exposed to the San Diego audience, but I have the feeling that once we taste it, we will want a little bit more and more.
And it's such a virtuosic piece for the orchestra.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of which, our orchestra, all of them, they've just been doing some wonderful social media posts and playing and speaking from the heart, whether it's in the basement of the parking garage or in their living rooms or standing in front of the Midway, and to have them also dispersed. I know that you've had, email connections with them and talking, but it's, I think of them spread out in this city as well.
Yeah.
It would be so good that first day when we're all back together.
It's might sound a little bit quiche, but it is. I miss everybody. I'm being at the same thing, and it's like we have been like families. That you are with family for years and years, and it's fine if you get us a little bit of time without them. No. In here, I really want to have everybody in the same place so we could actually share and do what we do best, which is playing music.
Hopefully, this will all be soon behind us, and we'll actually be able to hear you, even before the season, we'll be able to hear you in the new outdoor site, the shell. And you and I have visited the construction site. You know, you haven't been able to see it this visit, obviously, but it was already impressive. Remember standing underneath it when it was pouring rain?
Yes, that was fantastic. It was like almost like it was a showcase. Like it was like, oh, you are here. Look what we can do. And there was this really, really strong rain shower going, and we were in the middle of what is going to be the stage, and we could hear the rain going into the shell. And then looking across the bridge and looking afar Mexico, and then the whole thing went away and you have this amazing sunshine getting into the water. It was fantastic. It was so dramatic. It's almost like it was, you know, like a Hollywood movie that you put it in there and you build the climax. And it was just a Saturday day that we just went there and it happened to rain. It was fantastic. I still had that very strong sense, and we were there and it was cold, remember?
It was cold. Not as cold as St. Louis, but it was cold.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it was.
But we walked and all of a sudden found ourselves under the liner, which is covering the stage already. Although the wind came in from the sides because they're not closed yet, and the rain was kind of coming sideways at us. And just this incredible cacophony of sound on that liner as we were standing inside. We had to wait because we weren't prepared. We have coats. I mean, it just came out of nowhere.
Not even shoes. I wore my sneakers.
Yes, that's right. You did not have proper footgear on.
Yeah.
For a construction site. But when you stand on that stage and look out, it is really an incredible vista. And also when you kind of stand under the front of the stage, you really, it's powerful, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
I think when people finally gather there, they're going to be quite, as they say in Britain, gobsmacked.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, yeah. And it has this, I mean, the vibe of the site itself. I mean, the energy, even though it's not complete yet, but the surroundings are so mesmerizing, and they have this amazing, very San Diegan kind of vibe that you have the outdoor, you have the water, you have a little bit of the breeze, and you have the seagulls and everything all together. That is, I cannot wait until this is going to be open and we will be able to actually do some music in there to add to this landscape. Yeah.
Yeah. Very exciting.
Yeah, indeed.